Alex's life lessons, honestly. Good morning, guys. I figured we should talk today about something like quite topical I'm seeing on the internet right now, but also something that's happened to me, and I'm sure it's happened to a million of you guys. I really pride myself on being a girl's girl. I have a ton of girlfriends, and I think that's super important. You know, I think we love men. I'm married, but having a girlfriend is like the best thing in the whole world. And I think that that's like the most important relationship that you're going to have in your life, is having best friends. But I wanted to talk a little bit about toxic friendships. It's really funny. We've created this massive community on Facebook, and I call it like the girl gang, where we all sit and we chat, and you know, they've become friends with each other throughout it. I've become friends with people. It's just incredible. We have this little girl gang over on Facebook. Sometimes it feels super hypocritical to talk about that and then never speak about the toxic friendships that you have between you, me, and the internet. You know, from my own experience, that friendships with girls can sometimes be difficult. I have a lot of women around me that I love and adore and respect and admire, and I think that's so lucky. But not everybody has that. Not everybody is as lucky as me, and not everybody has had good friends like I have. However, I've had some toxic ones. Just a bit of big, oh, there's a guy looking at me. Just a bit of big sisterly advice is, when you finally recognize a toxic relationship, you need to literally drop it from the start. You need to instantly get rid of that relationship and get it out of your life. Any bit of negativity is just horrible. I loved high school. I mean, I was freaking homecoming queen. Like, I loved it. I didn't have any problems with bullies or anything like that. These are like really informative years of your life. You're building who you're going to become. And sometimes you'll stay close with your high school friends. Sometimes you'll stay close with your college friends. Sometimes you'll stay close with your friends, you know, that you make on your first job, etc., etc. But I found that the friends that I've traveled with have stayed in my life for a lot longer than the friends that I haven't traveled with. And, you know, I call everybody my best friend. I'm the type of person that really like takes people into my circle instantly, which isn't always a good thing. Being able to figure out when someone's a toxic friend is actually really important. You should be able to identify when they're toxic to you and to your life and to your family and to your future. And it's really, really hard to figure out. So just a couple things like that I kind of want to talk about from my past experiences. If you are friends with a girl and she's competitive with you, that is going to be the first red flag. So if you have any, I don't know, you buy yourself something and you love it and you talk about it all the time, and then they kind of say, oh, I don't really like it. I mean, it's all right. It's okay. And then all of a sudden they end up the next day with it. I find a lot of toxic friendships stem from competition. And I mean, same thing with toxic relationships in general. If you're competing with your partner, that will never, ever go well. If you and your partner are in competition with one another, it will never go well. My cousin said that on her speech, of her maid of honor speech. She was like, the most important thing that you and Paul need to remember is just never compete with one another, because one day she'll be up and you'll be down, and one day he'll be up and you'll be down, and you need to rely on each other to get through. One major thing about toxic friendships is competition should never come into play. You should be each other's biggest supporter. And I have found that in the past, that inadvertently competition has played a massive part of me kind of breaking up with friendships, me kind of having to step away. And as you get older, it's easier to step away from bad relationships. But when you're younger, it is really, really hard. The friendships that you make when you're younger feel like they're the only friends in the world that are ever going to get you. And then time goes on, you realize there's a lot more like-minded people in the world. So competition is really, really bad. If you're sensing any semblance of competition, that is not good. I have literally been friends with people that hate me. This is just like genuinely true. I have been like besties, super close with people that I know deep down hate me. I know that they hate me, and I don't really know why. I don't know if it's jealousy. I don't know if it's competition. I don't know if they just genuinely don't like who I am, but they hate me. And that actually, it kind of makes me laugh now. I've now distanced myself from a lot of people as I've gotten older. You know, I've kept my circle a lot tighter than it used to be, but I have literally been best friends with people that I know don't like me as a person, don't like my character, don't like anything, but it takes a while for you to get to that. If they're highlighting the negative things about you, if they say, oh, like, God, your spray tan looks bad, or, you know, oh, what's wrong with your nails? Like, things like that, that is a negative force in your life. That is just something that should not be there. You should not have to deal with that. You do not want to be around people that put you down. Somebody is sat there and putting you down constantly, inadvertently, like as a joke, making it funny. Out, cut, get them out of your life, because you don't want to ever be around people that aren't building you up. My best friend Shelby, she is my hype girl. I tell people this all the time. She's my hype girl. If I could ever pick someone that I needed to pick me up on a bad day, to tell me what a badass I am, to tell me how amazing I am, to tell me how, you know, like how I'm worthy of everything, that I deserve the world, it's Shelby. She's literally the best person on the planet to talk to when you're having a good day, and the best person on the planet to talk to when you're having a bad day. And I hope to God that I'm that for her. I hope that she knows that I'm her biggest hype girl too. But she is the best friend that you could ever call on. When things go bad, she agrees with you. She's like, yes, I agree. But she's also rational. She'll also say, maybe, you know, like maybe you're just being a little dramatic. But she is the one that will drag me from the bottom and bring me back to the top and tell me, why would they say that? You know, you're beautiful. You deserve everything. You deserve the world. And that is true. Like, you do. Every single person on this planet, especially girls have a really rough time. I feel like we are, compared to other girls, we're stuck in this loop of this endless cycle of like the beauty standards of what's beautiful, what's not beautiful. Should we be a stay-at-home mom and, you know, devote our life to our husband? Or should we just go to work and be a badass and be a girl boss? Do I want to be a girl boss? Am I sure I want to work 24 hours a day? There's a lot more mental complications I feel like women have than men. It's just men are assumed that they're going to go to work. They're going to have a bunch of guy friends. They don't compete with each other. They don't fight. They don't really care about each other as much as women do. And I feel like we really care. When you have a best girlfriend, it's like you're human. It's like your sister. You're just intertwined, and it's different for men. They can have best friends, but they don't have that closeness, that bond all the time. If someone is competing with you or putting you down, or if just downright hates you, if you speak to them and you know that they just don't like you, then why are you friends with them? And this is a big thing that I had to realize, you know, as I got older, as my career progressed, as time changed. Why am I friends with these people that I know don't like me? Why am I friends with them when they put me down? Why am I friends with them when they make me feel bad about myself? Why am I leaving a conversation and then replaying it in my head over and over again, thinking, did I say the right thing? That is not a friend. You should never have to sit at home and go, did I say the right thing? Was that all right with someone who is your friend? Always think, am I being appropriate? Am I being polite? Was that too harsh? That's fine, but you shouldn't have to second guess yourself with your best friend. You do second guess yourself in toxic relationships and toxic friendships. Yeah, as I've gotten older, I've realized there are certain people that I need to distance myself from, spend less time with, put my foot down with. Like, there's been a lot of people in my life that I've just always said, yeah. And then I go and I meet up with them and it's draining. And I think that is so telling. You should want to spend time with your friends. You should not feel drained when you come back from it. You should feel lifted. My friend Sam and I were having this conversation the other day. She was like, when I leave you, I feel so like motivated and happy. And so do I. I feel like, oh, we've had such a great morning. We might just go for a coffee and a walk. She goes to work, I go to work, and I'm like, but I feel motivated for the day. I don't feel like it was a life suck. And I think that as you get older, it makes it easier to differentiate what is a life suck and what isn't. And if you go to the shops with that person, if they make you feel like crap, if you go out for lunch with that person and they make you feel drained, these are things that you really need to look out for, and these are red flags. Another red flag is, do they support you? Do they support your life? Do they support your energy? Do they support your career? Do they support your family? Do they support you? Do they hold you to a high standard, but they support you in the long run? You know, they don't have to agree with everything you say, but Do they support your life choices? That's important too. You know, I've had friends that don't support my life choices, that have shit on me for joining Disney on Ice and joining skating shows and not going to college and made me feel like crap. You know, bye. But it's a lot easier to say this stuff now in my 30s and be like, oh my God, this is what you should be doing, than it was when I was like in my 20s. And you gather people. I think that you gather people in your 20s. Like you build a community and you gather people and they're your best friend and they're your best friend. And then you hit your 30s and slowly you're like, are they my best friend? Do they want what's best for me? Do they actually care about me? Do they make me feel good when I'm with them? Do they make me feel bad when I'm with them? Are they happy with my life choices? Do they support my family? Do they support my husband? Do they support my career? Do they think that I'm great? Or do they actually hate me? And it's really funny because I was watching this girl on TikTok the other day and she said, have you ever been that girl that you know that your best friend hates you? And she raised her hand and I was like, I've been that girl. I've been that person. And cutting out relationships is really, really hard, but there are red flags. They should be your hype girl. They should care about you and support you. And the feeling needs to be mutual. You need to give them the same care and support and build them up as well and tell them how great they are and be positive for them and listen to them when they need it. And if you're not giving that back to them, then they reserve every right not to want to be friends with you as well. And I think that becomes complicated as you get older because you get less and less time as you get older. Responsibilities get in the way. You know, you have a house, you have a mortgage, you have kids, you have dogs, you have everything, and those responsibilities have to come first. So if you can't make the time for that person, then they're not really that person to you. They're not that person that you need to call every day or speak to every day. And I've learned this as I've gotten older, that my time is so valuable and I don't want to waste my time around people that make me feel bad about myself. And in the industry that I'm in, I'll be completely honest, like my circle's very, very tight. So from my own experience, my circle is small. I have a handful of people that I consider to be like my besties, whereas in my 20s, I thought everyone was my best friend. It's the people that I make the time to call, to FaceTime, to text, to send a funny meme to. It's those people that I know are going to be in my life for the rest of my life. You'll never know what toxic friendship is until you are planning a wedding, because there are people that will feel in competition with you. There are people that will think that you're being, you're doing it wrong. And women have opinions. Women have lots of opinions. A blessing and a curse. I love a good, strong female opinion. I loved the opinion of my wedding planner. I loved the opinion of my dressmaker. I loved the opinion of people who I felt knew what they were talking about. Gave a shit about me. Only cared about me. Their priority was to take care of me and make sure I was okay. And also, I was never offended by how they delivered things. Sometimes, as time goes on, you realize the women that deliver things in a bad way to you, the way they say stuff, they're not part of your girl gang. They are definitely not part of your girl gang. And if they treat you that way and you feel small, the minute you feel small in a friendship, it's out. It's time to be out. If they don't respect what you do or understand how hard you're working or care about what you're doing, there's no way that relationship will last. And I've felt it a lot, throughout the past few years of my life, and realized who's in my life and who's not. And the most horrible thing is breaking up with a friend. The most horrible, horrible breakup isn't a breakup with a boyfriend. It is with a best friend. Being stubborn or being not stubborn, or really taking the time to think about, is this person good for me? Is this person making me feel good? Does this person think about my well-being? Does this person think about me, or do they put themselves first all the time? And it's hard. And I'm not going to lie, I spend a lot of time alone. I spend a lot of time on the internet too. You guys know. I would rather be in my own space alone than be in a space with somebody who I know secretly deep down hates me. And I think sometimes that's hard to decide. I think sometimes it's hard to differentiate. And I think sometimes it gets brought to the surface on major things, major moments in life, like pregnancies and, stuff like that. I think there's definitely major moments that draw out toxicity between friends. And just think that if you can start to differentiate the difference between a good friend and a toxic friend when you're younger, you will go through life so much smoother. Most of my best friends don't live in this country. Like they're not here. The girls' chat still pops off all the time. But you build community with like-minded people. And as time goes on, if these people are not supporting you, if these people are not supporting, I don't know, your marriage, your child, your whatever, you need to get out. You need to put yourself first. And I had a friend, and I remember this was happening to me. I was on tour in Mexico, and I was with one of my best friends at the time. To be honest, he was one of my best friends too. And he said something to me that was really, really smart, and it stuck with me. And honestly, we're not really super close to this day. I still love him, but we really separated too because he was going through a lot at the time. He said to me, it's time to get lean and mean, Alex. Time to cut the fat. Meaning, these people make you feel bad. You're feeling toxic about yourself. Why are you friends with them? Why are we pretending that everything's okay? And he said that, get lean and mean. And I use it all the time now to Paul. I'm like, get lean and mean, cut the fat. When it comes to jobs, or when it comes to relationships, or when it comes to friendships, I'm like, cut the fat. The people that love you, and the people that don't, screw them. It's ironic now I look back at it, and you know, we're not super, super close, me and that guy anymore, but I know if I saw him or messaged him, he'd still be there. But we were super close, and he was a bit toxic for me at that time. Doing great now, and I'm really, really proud of him. But you know, at that time, he was in a toxic spiral, and he said he needed to cut the fat. And I was like, I need to cut the fat with everybody. I need to get myself to this level. I wanted to be on Dancing on Ice. I didn't want to be fighting with other people because I wanted to be on Dancing on Ice. I didn't want to be fighting for the fact that I wanted to be this high level of skating, and that other people were not making fun of it, but you know, they were just kind of saying stuff. I remember doing a show once, and this girl that I idolized, I had known about her. She was like 10 years older than me. I thought she was incredible. She was like iconic in the skating world. Not really, but kind of. People knew her name, and I was like, I want to be like that. And I was 24, and I was like, I want people to know my name in the skating world. I want people to go, oh, that was Alex Murphy's solo. And I met her, and after meeting her, I was like, oh, she's going to like me. Like, this is going to be great. And I was like, she's going to be my best friend. Within like 3 days, she had cut me down so badly, told me, why are you going all out in these routines? Why are you doing that? I was like, oh my God, why? Just relax. You don't need to work that hard. Things like that. And it was because the director was giving me her spot. I didn't realize it. I didn't know what was going on. She was going to give me the spots that she should have had. And now I look back on it, and I'm like, that was competition. She didn't want me to take those roles. She didn't want me to have her spot, but she didn't want to work hard for it. And it was this competition that she had with me. I ended up sitting on a park bench with her one day, and her lecturing me about how hard her life was. And I was like, I had a stroke about 6 months before it. And I remember saying, if you think that this is hard, you have no idea. Like, I was like, I'm grateful to be here. I want to skate, and I want to be the best I can be. And I'm sorry if you can't allow me to be the best I can be. Like, I'm sorry if you think that me working hard is going to deter you from getting the job. You should work harder. And I was so angry because she was someone that I wanted to idolize, someone that I wanted to look up to, someone I thought was going to be great. And within, I'm not even kidding, within a week, I was like, wow, don't like this girl. And I don't really not like anybody. And yeah, that was it. I'll never, ever forget how small she made me feel because I was younger than her, or how small she made me feel because she thought that she was better than me. And obviously she wasn't, because the director gave me her spots, but I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that I was going out for the same spot as her. She made me feel little. She made me feel small, and she made me realize I need to put myself first. But again, it's about cutting the fat, like being around people that make you feel good, being around people that like build you up, having girlfriends that don't compete with you, having girlfriends that want different things than you, having friends that put you first as a priority in their life, and you put them first as a priority in your life. So yeah, anyways, I could say so much more on this. I mean, I'm in my 30s now. I'm 36 years old. I mean, we've all had toxic friendships and relationships, really. But you live and you learn. Yeah, I kind of want to talk to you guys about that because I've been seeing a lot of it go viral on TikTok. And I was like, oh my God, there's so much I could say about relationships and friendships and how I felt I was treated. And feeling like someone makes you feel small, you got to get out. If someone's treating you badly, you need to get out. And it's the little things like the, ew, why do you look like that? Ugh, I hate that dress. It's stuff like that that is putting you down daily over and over and over again, that's when you need to know to get out. That's when you need to know to say, I'm going to distance myself, and we're just not going to be as close as we were. I've got a few friends that we actually had this conversation about them having toxic friends and what should they do. And a breakup is really hard. Breakups are horrible and it's sad, and nothing's ever unfixable. So sometimes people can take a hard look at themselves and come back into things. But I think sometimes when you do something really crappy to someone, if you're like me, you sometimes snap and then it's done. But I think if you do something over a continuous amount of time, continually beat you down and beat you down, it makes you feel small, makes you feel bad, and every time you leave, you feel terrible. I mean, eventually you're going to snap and not care anymore. So talk to your friends, speak to them before it gets to that point. Tell them how they make you feel. I've made that mistake multiple times, not telling people how it made me feel and then snapping, and unfortunately, that's something I have to learn to be better at. I need to tell people how I feel from the beginning when the first thing bothers me, and not 10 miles down the road. That may have saved some of my relationships, but sometimes it just gets to be too far for me and I give up. So anyways, guys, just want to talk to you about toxic friendships, and please keep your girl gang tight. Join our girl gang. We have a great girl gang over on Facebook, and now hopefully we'll have one here. Just know that you are beautiful, you are worthy, and if anyone makes you feel any differently, kick them to the curb.